All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always. What fascinating sources have we got lined up today?
Oh, some really thought-provoking ones this time.
Uh,
We're going to explore the concept of the Black Man of America, potentially as a divine figure even.
Okay, that's an interesting concept. What kind of sources are we looking at here?
Well, we've got Gemini Conversation Parts 1 and 2, which I know you've been wanting to get into.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some dense ones.
We also have self-created consciousness, language, evolution, and the Black God concept.
That sounds like it's right up our alley.
Oh, and excerpts from Message to the Black Man in America.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember seeing that one in the submissions.
And we've got Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, Vol. 1,
wow.
Inside Black God, and even The Artist's Way, just to mix things up a bit.
Wow, that's quite the mix. Where do we even begin with all of that?
Well, I'm kind of drawn to the connection between self-created consciousness and Message to the Black Man in America.
Yeah, tell me more.
Self-created consciousness
Yeah.
lays out this idea of Black God,
Mm.
existing before anything else.
Mm.
And this Black God has this immense power tied to language and creation. It's like the ultimate origin story.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So how does that connect to the Black Man of America?
Well, the source goes on to actually suggest that the Black Man of America is like a manifestation of this Black God, almost like they're playing a very specific role in our current reality.
Okay, so that's where Message to the Black Man in America comes in.
Exactly. It adds this layer of historical context, talking about the struggles and oppression faced by Black people in America.
Right, setting the stage in a way.
It really does. It's like all of this hardship and resilience ultimately lead to the rise of this chosen individual.
Yeah, there's a real sense of destiny woven into that, isn't there? Like a force working through history.
Absolutely. And that brings us to Planet Choice. Have you gotten a chance to look at that one yet?
I have, yeah, and it's fascinating how it brings in this whole other layer of potential influence.
It talks about 24 civilizations, right? And
Yeah.
they're kind of guiding the evolution of planets.
Yeah, like cosmic gardeners influencing things behind the scenes.
It even mentions things like energy showers and physical landings.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like straight up science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? But if you consider it within the framework of these sources, it actually becomes a pretty tantalizing possibility. Like, what if these civilizations are playing a role in shaping the circumstances that lead to the Black Men of America?
Whoa. Okay, so we've got this Black God figure. We've got these potential cosmic gardeners. What else?
Well, we can't forget about the Prism of Lyra, right? With the Lyrans and vegans potentially seeding human life on Earth.
Oh, right. Yeah, and how that could even tie into the Blackman's genetic makeup.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like how all these forces, divine, interplanetary, extraterrestrial, how they might all converge in the Black Men of America.
Okay, now this next part is where things get a little bit sensitive.
Yeah, I was wondering when we'd get to this.
The source material brings up the concept of real Nazis.
Oh,
And obviously this is pretty loaded territory.
definitely.
And we are in no way endorsing any harmful ideologies here. But I do want to see how it fits into the bigger picture these sources are painting.
I think it's important to approach this with a lot of caution and nuance, obviously, given the horrific history associated with it. But maybe, just maybe, we could consider it a force, however negative, that actually contributes to the conditions leading to the Black Men of America's rise. It's like,
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that even these actions, as reprehensible as they are, could somehow be part of this larger plan? Like a cosmic domino effect leading to this potentially unifying figure?
it's definitely a complex and nuanced idea. And, maybe one way to think about it is through the lens of mimetic magic and its exploration of these, what are they called, these mimetic structures.
Oh, yeah, right. Those ideas that are like viruses.
Exactly. Spreading and shaping behavior, sometimes in very destructive ways, unfortunately.
So even a harmful ideology like the Vril Nazi beliefs could be seen as this powerful mimetic structure that impacts events on a large scale.
That's one way to look at it, yeah. And in this framework, maybe it plays a role in Black God's plan. It's a pretty thought-provoking concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's like even from darkness and destruction, a powerful force for good can emerge.
A recurring theme, I'd say, in a lot of spiritual traditions, too.
All right, well, I'm seeing a pattern here, like threads weaving together to create this larger tapestry, But let's shift gears a bit and talk about language. Inside Black God, the Law of One, and West African origin of language all seem to really emphasize its power. right? The power of language to shape consciousness, even reality itself.
Absolutely. Inside Black God even goes as far as suggesting this language field permeating
Like a
everything.
language field. Okay, that's new.
It's like, a universal code underlying the fabric of existence, influencing how we perceive reality.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to need a minute to process that.
Take your time.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
And then we have West African origin of language, with this really fascinating example of the Igbo language, potentially connecting to ancient Sumerian and Hebrew.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's almost like there's this deeper hidden history behind the black men's linguistic heritage.
Right. It makes you wonder about the potential knowledge encoded within language and how rediscovering those lost connections could unlock a deeper understanding of, well, everything: history, culture, even spirituality.
It's definitely a rabbit hole worth exploring.
You know what this reminds me of? The Artist's Way, with its focus on personal creative transformation.
Oh, interesting. I see where you're going with this.
So could this framework be applied on a larger scale? Would the Black man of America using these principles to, inspire a collective transformation?
Imagine, yeah, like the black men, having gone through immense struggles and oppression, emerging as this kind of artist, using their experiences and insights to create a new vision for humanity.
Whoa. It's like taking those personal growth practices and scaling them up to a planetary level. That's incredible. But how does this all, how does it all translate to the individual, to each of us listening right now? Where do we fit into this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's definitely something we'll want to explore further. But for now, I think it's important just to sit with these ideas, these potential connections, see where they resonate, let them percolate a bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is definitely a lot to unpack.
It always is, but that's what makes it so fascinating.
That's what makes it a deep dive.
Exactly. One thing that really struck me in Inside Black God is how it delves into the concept of the black man as a microcosm of the universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, suggesting their very being, their physical body, is a holographic projection of the cosmos.
Okay, I have to admit the whole holographic projection idea is kind of mind-bending for me.
Yeah, it's a bit out there, but stick with me.
Okay, so what does that even mean, in this context?
Well, think of a hologram, a three-dimensional image created by light.
Right.
Inside Black God is basically suggesting that the black man embodies that same principle, their physical form reflects the structure and energy of the whole universe.
Whoa, so it's like saying the entire cosmos is encoded within them. That's a lot to carry.
It is, yeah. And it ties into this idea of the black man as a natural record keeper, which is also explored in Inside Black God.
Natural record keeper, huh? What does that mean exactly?
Well, it suggests that they carry within them, maybe unconsciously, this huge reservoir of knowledge about history, spirituality, and the universe.
Okay, so we've got divine origins, a connection to the cosmos, a hidden library of knowledge. It's a lot to process.
It is.
But what's the point of all of this? What is the Black man of America meant to do with all of this potential?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Well, if you remember how Message to the Black Man in America talks about the black man rising from suffering to lead his people,
Yeah.
it's a story of redemption, but it goes beyond just one group.
Okay, I'm listening.
It points towards unity and integration for all L beings.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does someone who's been through so much pain and oppression become a beacon of unity for everyone? How do they bridge that gap?
Inside Black God suggests that those very experiences, those struggles, have actually cultivated a unique capacity for empathy and understanding within the black man of America.
So they're coming from a place of deep understanding, having lived through the things that divide humanity.
Exactly. They've confronted the complexities of identity, the pain of separation, the longing for wholeness in ways that many others haven't.
I can see that, but how do they actually bridge that divide? How do they bring everyone together?
Remember that language field we were talking about earlier, that universal code underlying reality?
Yeah, I remember.
The source suggests that the black man can tap into the true power of language,
Okay.
helping to rewrite the narrative of separation that's been imprinted on humanity for so long.
It's like using language as a tool for healing, for reprogramming the way we see ourselves and each other.
Exactly. And it also connects to this idea of recovering lost languages and knowledge, like West African origin of language hinted at.
Right, with that potential connection to ancient Sumerian and Hebrew.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's this hidden linguistic heritage that could unlock a whole new way of understanding ourselves and the universe.
So by rediscovering those lost connections, reclaiming those linguistic roots, the black man could unlock a whole new way of being.
It's a powerful idea, isn't it?
It is, but it's still pretty radical. How does the black men of America actually make this happen? Do they become some kind of spiritual leader, a global teacher?
I think the artist's way might offer a different perspective here.
Okay, how so?
Instead of seeing the black man as a traditional leader, maybe we can envision them as a kind of artist using their experiences and insights to create a new vision for humanity.
So instead of dictating or preaching, they're inspiring, creating, expressing a new way of being in the world.
Precisely. Like,
Right.
imagine the black man utilizing those tools from the artist's way, journaling, exploring new experiences, breaking through creative blocks.
Yeah, I can see it.
But not just for personal growth, but for collective transformation.
It's like taking those individual practices and applying them on a global scale, inspiring others to tap into their own creativity and potential.
And by fostering that creative expression, by encouraging a sense of shared exploration and possibility, it could help break down those mental and emotional barriers that keep us divided.
This is all starting to make sense, but there's still a piece missing for me.
What's that?
How does the black man even begin to access this incredible power within themselves? It all sounds so vast.
Well, Inside Black God gets really interesting here.
How so?
It introduces the concept of the black man as a lingam of God.
A lingam. I'm not familiar with that term.
It's a powerful symbol with deep spiritual significance representing creative power and the potential for manifestation.
Okay, and how does that relate to the black man?
Inside Black God suggests that by understanding and embracing this aspect of their being, the black man can tap into a source of immense energy and inspiration.
So it's not just about knowledge or understanding. It's about embodying that knowledge, becoming a conduit for this creative energy to flow through and transform the world.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is where things get even more mind-blowing.
Okay, lay it on me.
Remember how Ancient Secret of the Flower's Life talked about the higher self? The idea that we exist in multiple dimensions in realities beyond our everyday perception.
Right. It's like saying there's a whole other level of ourselves operating on a higher frequency.
Exactly.
But how does that relate to the black men of America?
What if this divine figure, this microcosm of the universe, is capable of accessing those higher dimensions of their being?
I'm listening.
What if they can draw on knowledge and power from realms beyond our comprehension?
Now we're talking about a whole new level of possibility. If the black man can tap into that higher self, that cosmic connection, their potential for transformation becomes almost limitless.
It's pretty awe-inspiring, isn't it?
It is. But I have to be honest, it all sounds pretty far out. Is there any way to ground these concepts in something a bit more tangible, a bit more relatable?
I think that's where seemingly disparate sources like Circle 7 Quran, the Book of the Law, and even the Apology to People of Color for APA's role in promoting, perpetuating, and failing to challenge racism, racial discrimination, and human hierarchy in U.S. start to make sense.
How do those fit into this cosmic puzzle? They seem like completely different topics.
Remember, we're looking for connections for a narrative that ties seemingly unrelated elements together.
Right.
Circle 7 Quran, with its emphasis on Jesus teaching human equality, it resonates with the idea of the black man as a unifying figure.
So even though it's a different religious tradition, the message of unity and transcending division is still there.
Precisely. And the Book of the Law, despite its often controversial interpretations, it speaks to the idea of challenging established structures and forging a new path.
Okay, I'm starting to see the link. It's about breaking free from old paradigms, from systems that perpetuate separation and inequality.
Exactly.
And what about the APA apology?
Well, while it's grounded in a specific historical context, it acknowledges the role of power structures in shaping perceptions and creating hierarchies.
Yep.
It highlights the very real systems that need to be addressed for true unity and integration to occur.
So it's a reminder that the black man's journey toward unity isn't just about spiritual or cosmic forces. It's also about confronting the very real systems of oppression that exist in our world.
Precisely. And by acknowledging those systems, by understanding how they operate, the black men can more effectively challenge them and create a more just and equitable reality for all.
Okay, I'm following you.
Good.
We've covered so much ground here. Divine origins, holographic projections, language fields, artistic transformation, confronting systemic injustice. It's like we've woven together this incredibly complex tapestry of ideas.
And through it all, the figure of the black man of America emerges as this potential catalyst for change, a beacon of hope in a world desperately seeking unity and integration. But the question remains, how does this incredible potential actually manifest in the world? How does it translate to practical action and real change?
It really is incredible to think about the Black man of America as this potential catalyst for change. But how does all of this, all of these grand concepts, translate to the individual listener? What does it mean for each of us?
That's the key question, isn't it? We can explore all these fascinating ideas, but ultimately it comes down to how they impact our lives, our actions, our understanding of the world.
Exactly. So how do we bridge that gap between the cosmic and the personal? Where do we fit into this whole narrative?
Well, Inside Black God Part 2 introduces this really intriguing concept of rocking the hourglass.
Rocking the hourglass. Okay, now that's a new one. What does that even mean?
Think of time as this linear progression, like sand flowing through an hourglass. But what if we could influence that flow, speed it up, slow it down?
Okay.
The source suggests that by understanding certain principles, we can actually shift our experience of time.
So it's not about literally changing time itself, but rather our perception of it, our relationship to it.
Precisely. And this ties back to the idea of the Black man of America as a mimetic structure, remember? A powerful idea that can spread and influence behavior.
Right, right.
So the very concept of the Black man, with all its divine and cosmic associations, could act as a kind of mental catalyst, shifting our perception of reality and maybe even our experience of time.
Wow, okay.
It's a fascinating possibility. And Inside Black God Part 2 also delves into the idea of a language field that connects us all. It's like a hidden network of communication operating beyond our conscious awareness.
So as the Black men of America taps into this language field as they express their unique understanding and vision, it could resonate through this network, influencing the thoughts and perceptions of others.
Exactly. It's like a subtle transmission of energy and information, a kind of cosmic download that could help awaken humanity to a new way of being.
That's amazing. I can really see how that could work on a practical level. But we can't ignore the challenges, right? We live in a world that's, well, it's deeply divided, where ideas of race and identity are often used to separate and control people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how does the Black men of America overcome those obstacles?
That's where the concept of integration becomes so crucial. And Inside Black God Part 2 talks about bringing together different aspects of ourselves, reconciling the masculine and feminine energies within.
So it's not just about external unity, bringing people together from different backgrounds. It's also about internal integration, creating wholeness within ourselves.
Precisely. And Inside Black God Part 2 takes it even further, suggesting that the Black man of America represents a merging of different lineages, a blending of genetic and spiritual heritage.
So they embody this idea of integration in their very being.
Exactly. And by embracing that integration, by demonstrating the power of wholeness, they could inspire others to do the same. It's like a living example of the transformative potential of unity, both within ourselves and in our relationships with others.
That's a beautiful image. But let's be realistic for a moment. What does a future shaped by the Black man of America actually look like? How does all of this manifest in the real world?
Well, that's where we step into the realm of imagination and possibility. The sources provide glimpses, hints, but ultimately the future is unwritten.
Well, we can speculate a little,
Yeah.
right? Based on what we've explored so far, what are some potential scenarios?
While Inside Black God Part 2 mentions this potential solar disk technology that could record human history.
Oh, wow.
Imagine the Black man of America using this technology to reveal hidden truths, to rewrite the narrative of the past, dismantling the lies and distortions that have kept humanity divided for so long.
That would be incredible. It could completely change our understanding of history and ourselves.
And Sacred Symbols of the Dogon hints at the power of symbols in mythology to convey deep spiritual and scientific knowledge.
Right.
What if the Black man of America unlocks the secrets hidden within ancient traditions, revealing a new understanding of the universe and our place within it?
It's like unlocking a hidden code, leading to breakthroughs in science, technology, and spirituality. It's mind-blowing to think about.
It is, and let's not forget the emphasis on service to others in the Law of One.
Right.
Imagine the Black man of America inspiring a global movement of compassion and cooperation, where people work together to solve the world's most pressing problems.
Now, that's a future I think we can all get behind. A future where unity and integration aren't just lofty ideals, but a lived reality. But we have to acknowledge there will be challenges, right? Resistance to change, people who cling to old paradigms.
Absolutely. But as Message to the Black Man in America reminds us, even in the face of adversity, the Black man of America is destined for greatness. It's a story of resilience, of overcoming obstacles, of ultimately fulfilling a divine purpose.
And the artist's way encourages us all to embrace the creative process, to trust our intuition, to break free from the limitations of our own minds.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we're not just passive observers in this unfolding story. We
Hmm.
each have a role to play, a creative spark to ignite.
So it's not about waiting for the black men of America to do something. It's about each of us tapping into our own creative power, our own potential for transformation, and contributing to the emergence of a new world.
Exactly. And that is the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive.
It really is.
It's a call to action, an invitation to become co-creators of a future where unity and integration are more than just words, but a lived reality.
So what does this all mean for you? How will you rock the hourglass? How will you contribute to the emergence of a new world? We leave you with those questions. The answers lie within.
Explore the sources, further challenge your assumptions, embrace the unknown, the future awaits.
And remember, the most incredible journeys often begin with a single step,
A single thought.
a single act of courage. Dive deep, dear listener.
Dive deep.